Listen, it's my favorite time of the week because we get to talk to our good friend Stuart Varney, one of the smartest guys on television. If you're not watching Varney and Company at 9:20 on the Fox Business Network, you're missing out. You're missing out on all kinds of good stuff. Stuart Varney, how are you?
Hey, Brian, after that, I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh, well, good. Hey, listen, I've been watching this sequester thing, and it seems as if the president is just going out of his way to try to be sort of petty, but trying to demonstrate ways that they can inflict pain for political gain.
No question about it, and I think his bluff has been called. I think the tide of public opinion has turned against him, especially with I think the turning point was when the White House tours were canceled. That is the most ridiculous thing I can imagine, because they've not done anything about the calligraphers, 3 of them, who work at the White House. They've not done anything about the $102,000 a year that's paid to the man who handles the dog of the president. There's countless examples of where you could cut, but the president won't cut. He cuts where it's inflicting pain. I think the public realizes this, and that's why you now have this charm offensive from the president. He's backing right off from the Armageddon threat, and he senses reality catching up with him, so now he's turned the corner.
Yeah, but I'm wondering about that. I wonder if that's not like rope-a-dope. Oh, come on over here, have dinner with me, and have Paul Ryan come in and have lunch yesterday, and we'll make nice, and then it'll be reported on that I was out there trying to make some kind of, gesture to the other side, and then when it all falls apart, you can say, well, I tried. I did everything I could do.
Oh, that's precisely what it is, Brian. There's no question about it. It's a slick PR move, and I hope the public doesn't fall for it. Having seen the $400 billion worth of so-called cuts that the president proposes for Medicare, which is entirely laughable, I'm just not buying this, a new approach, come over here and talk to me, I'm a nice guy after all. I'm not buying it.
Meanwhile, Stuart, it seems like Wall Street doesn't mind all this talk of sequester and all the things happening down here in Washington. You guys are on a roll every day. Even though they're modest gains, every day is a new record. Is this a house of cards just waiting to collapse?
No, I don't think it is. I think there are 3 reasons why the market's up. Number 1, Ben Bernanke keeps on printing money. Number 2, corporate profits are pretty strong. And number 3, this sequester is a known quantity. If you take 2% out of the budget over a period of whatever number of years it is, Wall Street knows what it's dealing with. The idea of shutting down the government or running out of money entirely, that is an unknown quantity. That's been put on the sidelines. So if Wall Street is dealing with something that it knows, it can deal with it. And markets are going up. They'll go up again today. You're looking at about a 40-point gain for the Dow, depending upon these unemployment numbers in 40, 50 minutes. But the market looks like it's going north again.
Wow. And Stuart, now you're of course, you're in New York City, which, by the way, may be the only flaw that I can find in you, is that you're living in New York instead of, a more civilized town.
like we do.
Columbia, yes. But Stuart, your Mayor Bloomberg, first of all, he's got a record number of homeless. We got this report yesterday that 80% of the students graduating from schools can't read at the proper level, and yet now, after big gulps and after sugar and after all these other things he's now focusing on keeping people from turning music up too loud in their earbuds. What is going on with your mayor?
Excuse me, Larry, I do believe that you're in Washington, D.C., is that correct?
That's right. Well,
very civilized town.
The city which was shut down by absolutely no snow or whatever.
Oh,
okay.
Now that's a low blow.
I'm not going to use the word wuss or wimp, but I think it applies. Now,
thank you much. We appreciate that.
Let me deal with New York City. This is a rough, tough city with a less than rough, tough mayor. We're not allowed in the future to have loud earphones playing music because that's bad for our health. And we're not going to be allowed to get a taxi cab using our smartphones because that offends the livery cab business. But I guess you could say that this is the nanny city, but you, by the way, live in the wuss city. So I'll call it quits.
Wow.
All right.
I see how you are. You're going to diss us, are you? Just because they missed it by a couple of degrees.
I'd never diss a man from Texas. Brian.
Yeah. You know
but me. So he's dissing me. That's right. Well, I don't blame you.
And yet that would be entirely appropriate.
Wait, let's go back to this D.C. thing, because Uber is the company that does the smart smartphone.
It's awesome.
We love it. Uber's the greatest
We
thing in
think it's
DC.
the greatest thing since sliced
So
bread.
you can, so New York is now looking to outlaw this kind of hailing of taxis?
Basically, yes. It's been put on hold, put it like that. I can walk on the streets of Manhattan, hail a yellow cab, stand in the street, raise my arm, yellow cab stops, picks me up. What I wanted to do was to get hold of a yellow cab by dialing one up on my smartphone. But the livery cabs say, no, you can't do that. So the special interests weigh in, and this plan to allow you to get a yellow cab on your smartphone has been put on hold.
All right, so let me get this straight. Now I understand why you settled in New York, Stuart, because you're a European, and now you've got, basically, there's no free market there anymore, and you've got a mayor who wants to control every aspect of your health and your life.
You must feel right at home.
Yeah.
That was an interesting attempt to get at me because of my ethnicity, but it really won't work, Larry. I am 40 years in America. Nobody is as Americanized as I am, and nobody is as proud of it as I am.
Okay, I'm just saying, you've been here 40 years, and New York hasn't been the same. That's all I'm saying. I love you.
Touche.
I'm kind of curious. What did you think about the Rand Paul filibuster?
I was fascinated by it. I'm not concerned to discuss the issue,
right,
the drone issue.
But just the pageantry of it, yeah.
I was just fascinated to see this young guy, up-and-comer, stand on the floor of the Senate, dominate it for 13 hours, get all kinds of coverage, whilst the old guard was out having dinner with the president. It just looked like a complete divorce to me within the Republican Party.
Why, you must be looking at our board here, because that's exactly what we're going to talk about at the top of the 8 o'clock hour.
Stuart Varney with the greatest tease to our audience
Thank
ever.
you very much, Sam.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it was brilliant. We love it. All right, Stuart, thanks so much for joining us today.
Good luck, everyone.
It's always a pleasure to have you, Stuart. Have a good day. Have a good week.